And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It is Rainbow Cup action. Apologies for the late start. I was busy running around trying to get my life in order, so running a little bit late. But we got the Stormers taking the field now ahead of the clash. Both these sides have lost both their games, so it's been quite an interesting game. So before we sort of go through the teams and stuff like that, let me know what your score predictions are down in the comments. Let me know who you are backing. Let me know where you are watching the game from. The first of two games, of course. Right, so as I said there, please do put your score predictions down in the comments below. The Lions are taking to the field at the moment, so we'll get the clock underway and stuff like that, and then we'll go through both the teams. A couple of changes for both sides. Both sides getting some Springboks back, in fact, which is quite a big boost for them, but also a couple of big names missing out, especially for the Stormers. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But in the meantime, get your score predictions down in the comments. Let me know who you're backing, who you're supporting. The man in the middle is Eddie Jacobs. He's being assisted by Zwingeli Jazweni and Morne Ferreira, and Stuart Berry is our TMO for today. Very early kickoff here on a Saturday, 1:30. I was complaining last time because we went 4 o'clock, 6:15, and I said we need a bit of time. I'm not sure we needed 1:30 and then 6:15 again. That's a little bit extreme, but I've got to try and work their way around other games across the weekend for broadcast rights and stuff like that. Right, come on, my Lions. Come on, the chaps. Have not looked, probably looked better than I expected them to look, to be honest, but haven't really looked like they're going to win a game so far. So this is a team that the Lions have actually become a bit of a bogey team for the Stormers. And we've got kickoff, so we can get the timer underway. The Lions are playing right to left. They kick deep onto the 22, and it is Dan du Plessis who takes the ball early on. He's brought down by Ruben Skuman and Steve Satole. So far, the Stormers with a decent kickoff here, and now Steven Kitsoff loses the save to the 22, which means that Herschel Yankees will not be able to find touch. He does go to the boot, however, and it's a decent kick, which is contestable, but it's a good take. I think that's EW for Yun, but there are 2-3 Stormers players over that, so the Lions keep that ball. I'll be impressed, and they do. I'm impressed. Right, Jordan Hendrickson, he decides to go to the boot. He goes up. It's a decent chase. Williamson's a good take, but Rams McClana was there to bring him down early. Now there's a bit of space out wide. Abel van der Merwe gets his first dart, cuts the side one, runs into Reynard North-Narkel, who handles him a little bit. Right, now the Stormers' first chance. No, Abner van Renen decides he's going to play a bit of a territory game. He sees some space in behind there, but it's very well taken in the end by Eo Fuyun, who was a little bit caught out, and he eventually finds touch on the 10-meter line in the Lions' half, which will give us a bit of time to actually go through the lineups and see what we have got for us today. So for the Lions, we have got EW Fuyun, Ravs Maklada, Wandasila Similane, and then the only change to the Lions' backline. There's two changes to the backlines. Berger Urdendal comes in as captaining the side. Cordos Kassan keeps his place. And then somebody I'm very excited to see as Stormers win the first line out is Jordan Hendrickson, who's 19 years old and being backed at flower half. The Stormers are through, but it's spilled forward by Sturgill Peterson. Then we've got Andrew Warner, Frankie Horn, Vince Tuka, MJ Pulser. That's all unchanged from last week, as is Reynard North-Narkel and Ruben Skuman, and then Carlu Sardi and Steve Satole are the same, but Jakub Asaki comes in, a bit of a kicking battle here. Idol for Yun doing well, taking for the Lions. And then off the bench for the Lions, this is where they've got a bit of a boost. They've got PJ Buerta, Ruan Drea, Asanata, and Klabakanya as the Lions go wide, and Hujatuka can't hold on, goes into touch for another line-out. And then Willem Alberts is back. Emmanuel Tutuka is preferred as well. Morne van den Berg, Fred Zeling, and Dan Creel round up the rest of the Lions bench. So it's a much better bench for the Lions. You've got Ruan Drea and Willem Alberts there. Those are two Springbok cap players. So good to see those two back as well, as the Stormers come for their second line in Lions territory. For the Stormers, a couple of changes as well. They welcome back a Springbok, but also lose one. So in the back line, they've gone, well, that's a nice big hit on from Burger Odendaal. They've got Damian Willemse, Sergio Peterson, Dan du Plessis, Rikus Victorious, Edwin van der Merwe comes in. And then Abner van Renen is continued to be back, but Herschel Yankees comes back from injury. Then Evan Roos, Willie Engelbrecht, and Marcel Tennyson is the loose trio as the Stormers make a bit of ground there. And David Mayhays and Ernst van Rijn, the lock combination. And then the all Springbok front row, that is quite normal for the Stormers, of Frans Malherbe, Bongi Benambi, and Stephen Kitsoff, who also captains the side. We're going to have our first scrum, by the way, a bit of a knock-on here from the Stormers. And then on the bench for the Stormers, Scurry Interbenny, Ali Vermaak, Nettling Fasheer, Ben Jason Dixon, Johan de Toy, his brother, Piestep de Toy, is being rested today after playing 2 full 80 minutes. Jean Augustus comes in. He will be going up to the Premiership later this year, but he's available today. And we've got Paul de Vet and Tim Sweel. We're going to have our first scrum of the day, which will allow me to actually change the blooming background, yeah? That's how rushed we've been. So there we go. That's better. We've got 2 players who are actually playing today. Can you show the gameplay? No, I can't. That is illegal. That is against copyright law, unfortunately. So this is going to have to suck it up and deal with me, unfortunately. But yeah, so the first scrum's gone down, but it's available for the Lions. Burger Odendaal, Jordan Hendrickse, who delays the pass. Nice idea, but it ends up going to nobody. EW for Yun now spots a bit of a gap, makes some ground. I'm very interested to see how Jordan Hendrickse goes today, because I think that, and that's a penalty to the Stormers in the first kickable position. Holding on is the call, and yeah, I mean, EW for Yun just getting a little bit isolated there, and nobody really coming up to help him. So, pretty poor support play. But as I was saying, I haven't been particularly impressed by Fred Zeilinger. I think he's all right, but, you know, nothing particularly special, and very different player to an Alton Yankees. Not necessarily as attacking natured, and I think they've struggled a little bit without Alton. It's been a very big, you know, a big gap that he's left. So it's interesting that they've backed 19-year-old Jordan Hendrickse. We've obviously seen how well his brother's doing at the Sharks. He's fast becoming the Sharks' #1 choice as Abner van Renen lines up his first pick of the match. It's going to be 41 meters. Pretty straightforward chance. So they had another chance like this similarly quite early on last weekend and missed it. So maybe not as straightforward as we might think. But it's a solid strike, and that'll split the poles, and the first points of the game belong to the Stormers, who have been in the Lions' half for the first 5 minutes here. So can't say that's not earned. But yeah, I think Jordan Henderson is going to be an interesting player to watch today. I think Abner van Renen's got something to prove as well. The front row battle is going to be very tough for the Lions, playing against an all Springbok front row. Never easy. But yeah, so now William gets us underway, goes to a similar position right on the edge of the 22. But it's well taken from the Stormers. But actually, having said that, MJ Pulse has gone all over that. He's won a penalty back. And this is an area which, as a Stormers fan, I mean, you would be absolutely fuming at this. After scoring some points, the kickoff comes in and you can see a penalty right away, which means the Lions can either kick a goal and nullify the penalty you just kicked, or they can go for the corner, which it looks like they're going to do, and punish you. And the ability to exit well is so important, and something which I think has been quite lacking in SA Rugby of late. But yeah, MJ Pulsar brilliantly timed there, got it over, very nice strong position, and he wasn't going to be moved at all. So very well played by the number 6 in the line. So I think I've been very impressed with. I think he's come in, and we don't have Jaco Creel. Len Mustaine's been injured for a while, and he's come in. And I think, to be honest, he's cemented a spot at first choice there. Lots of high energy. The Lions for their first line, they win the ball. They go to Schoeman there and trying to get it driving more, but it's not really moving anywhere. So Andre Warner's going to have to use this. Burger Odendaal is the man who goes up. But it's been a fantastic counteract by Stormers and terrible protection by the Lions. And that's just poor. Commercial Yankees will now clear, and that's a big chance going a begging for the Lions. Just poor at breakdown there, which they characteristically usually are quite good at breakdown, but just not supporting the man at all. The Stormers came straight through, no issue there, no contest. And Herschel Yankees managed to clear the lines there. So a bit of a let-off from the Stormers after conceding that penalty off the kickoff. So the Lions will have another line out about 20 meters back from where they just had their penalty there. They go up, it's contested, but the Lions do win possession back eventually. Saki gives it to his captain, Birger Urndal, who spots a bit of space, cuts inside. Now Ruben Skuma makes a few meters. Now Carly Sardi, that's a very nice run. Much quicker ball here from Andrew Warner. You idiot, Wandisile Similane, come on, man. Jordan Henderson going behind there, and Similane, I think, guilty, just looking up a little bit ahead and knocking it forward. There was an advantage there, so they'll go back for the penalty. The nice thing is, and I think that's what I'm hoping we're going to see with Jordan Henderson, is that Lions are trying to go back to a much faster and more open game plan, which they've been known for characteristics over the last couple of years. Jordan Henderson's going to line up his first kick of the match, going to try and take some points, which is nice to see. I think the Lions are the best when they're trying to accelerate and trying to play quite a high-tempo game. They're at altitude, and he slots the kick, no issues there, so that brings the scores to 3-3. Yeah, I mean, stick to what you know. You know, if you're not going to really compete at the moment, I don't think you're not going to win games with the Lions by out-muscling and playing a nice tight game. Play it a little bit loose, play quite a high tempo. It's at altitude, run the Stormers off their socks, see if they can last the full 80. You know, you got to use your home ground advantage. The first time we've played at home all season. Andrew starts saying, seems to be the only way to get coverage on pay-for channels, not even on radio. Yeah, unfortunately, that is the reality at the moment. SuperSport has snapped up all the broadcast rights for all rugby at the moment. So no SABC, no radio or anything like that. So I'm hoping that this allows some people to sort of see somewhat part of the game. It's obviously not ideal. If I could show the game, I would, but I can't. But yeah, decent exit play from the Lions. Now it's the Stormers who are trying to get their way back into the Lions half through. A nice carry by Vance Malherbe. Now Abner Fenrir, now they're looking to go wide for the first time. Damian Williams joins the line of attack, steps inside, but it's well read by MJ Pulser. Now they're going outside, there's a bit of space out wide. Chicken wing pass by Rick Pretorius. The jobs for Cornels Kasani, then has to run to touch. So it will be a Stormers throw. First time the Stormers have really tried to use their backline to get into the game, and they found some meters. I think both sides actually look like there's a little bit of space out wide to attack. Nice quick hands from the Lions, an overlap by Rick Pretorius, trying to get it over the top and a bit of a chicken wing pass. They can't find the man though. But at the end result, it is a Stormers line out. About 5 meters on from their 5, from the 10. The clean feed, but Hershey Yankers is caught on the ball, so. And it's a knock on as well. Very well played. But hang on, now we've got a penalty. Not quite sure what the penalty's for. Yep, it's a good point. So the knock on by Hershey Yankees, who was caught on the ball, and then as he knocked it on, the player in front of him then played the ball, which is a penalty. So yeah, I mean, not particularly accurate from the Stormers, and I'm not going to be critical in the first 10 minutes, but what I will say is that was an issue that the Stormers had last weekend. They had so much possession against the Bulls. They had so much territory, but they couldn't. Their lineup wasn't great, and they couldn't take their chances. You know, they had lots of opportunities, but couldn't really convert them into points, and that was where they sort of came a bit short. And it's a nice touch finder there from Jordan Hendrickse, and I think that's another area which I think the Lions are not going to miss Fred Zailinga. He's really struggled when it comes to trying to find decent touch finders, you know, and it just, when you've got somebody he's got a big boot, it relieves so much pressure. Like there, you know, it's a decent. Ooh! Cheers, Herschel. This is much better from the Lions. Another good run there from Ruben Schoeman. Nice quick ball here, but they've been turned over. And Timolani's intercepted it. Yes! Thank you very much. No, Bongi, don't point back and think that there was something else. We were complaining about something. Come on. We'll take them anywhere we get them. Want to see it with this intercept. So the Lions were on the attack. Stormers turned the ball around at the ground. And then in trying to sort of go wide to try and find some space and exploit the lack of defensive line, Similani's read it like a book and come straight through, popped the ball up, then eventually came down for him and he went over. So Evan Ruiz was trying to bullet pass. Similani's throwing a hand up, but went straight up, waited for the ball to come down. Eventually falls down for him and he goes over. So thank you very much. We'll take that. And the Lions hit the first try. Scott Grave saying, Stephen, who do you think is going to be the final for the Southern Hemisphere and the Northern Hemisphere? And if the final goes ahead, when will it be the Southern Hemisphere or Northern Hemisphere? I don't know. I mean, I was quite interested to see that news last night because, as Jordan Henderson adds the extra 10. Look, I think for down here, you've got to back the Bulls as the favourites for that final. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's the Bulls versus Sharks today, so it's quite a telling game, I think, that game. But I think that the Bulls just have a knack of winning, so they're going to be the favourites, but there's no reason that the Sharks side, especially the Sharks side, if they start clicking a little bit, can't be the finalists. I suppose for the Northern Hemisphere, it's probably between Leinster and Munster. A lot of people backing Munster. So, yeah, I tend to actually also to back the Munster Sharks. So I reckon we're probably going to see a Munster Bulls final. I assume it's going to be down here. And the reason I say that is by virtue of the fact that the Southern Hemisphere the sides were not allowed to travel, that these four sides were not allowed to go over there for the Rainbow Cup. I understand, obviously, logistically, it's a lot more with 4 teams across 3 weeks and stuff like that. But given the fact that they were told that they were not going to get visas, and given the fact that the British and Irish Lions are going to be allowed to come here, I imagine it'll be hosted down here in the Southern Hemisphere, where a Munster or Leinster or whatever can come and play the game here. That's what I think will happen. I don't know. I just think it'll be quite hypocritical to say to these 4 teams, you cannot come travel up here. We will not accept you. You will not get visas. And that's another mistake from Herschel Yankees from the lineup there, just completely spilling it forward. He's having a bit of a mare so far. Yeah, I just think it'll be a bit hypocritical to have said no to all these sides traveling over there and then to allow one side to go for a final. I mean, I know it is slightly different in terms of the number of people that have to travel and stuff like that. Herschel Yankees is having an absolute stinker so far. I mean, it's a decent line-out win for him. The Stormers came straight towards him and he takes his eye off the ball, really looking where the pass is going and spills it forward. So not a good start for the Springbok number 9, who I think is under a little bit of pressure for that reserve spot. I don't think he's been as good this season as he was in that breakthrough season in 2019. And I think you've got somebody like Kobus Reinach who's playing some very good rugby. I think Jaden Hendricks is playing some very good rugby as well. You know, you've obviously got Ivan van Sale, who's very good in the Currie Cup Super Rugby Unlocked. Ambrose Papier, you know, so I think if Hershey Yankees doesn't start picking himself up in the next couple of games, he could be a little bit under pressure for that spot on the bench. Just doesn't seem to have the same sort of confidence, the same sort of sharpness that we come quite used to. So we're going to have a scrum here on the Lions 10 meter. Did stop times. Let me just fix the clock. Now, the scrum time should be a Stormers battle every single time. You think that's a all Springbok World Cup winning front row, you know, compared to a Lions front row, which I don't think, I mean, there's none of them have been capped. I think Carlos Sardi will be a Springbok eventually. I think he's a very good player. Tis Torley has improved a lot, and Jakob Asaki's been a decent signing for Lions, but in theory, they shouldn't be able to compete with this Stormers front row. But they've held them there, and there's a bit of a counter shove, actually. So it's once again, it's gone down, it's available for the Lions. Hendrickson now, see Similani out there. There we go. You see, out wide to Cornels Kassan. He's got the pace. Where's he going? He goes back outside. It's a fantastic covering tackle by Damien Vinson, but the Lions are into the 22. And Herschel Yankees has now read that like a book, and now it's odd. He doesn't have the pace. Once you see the Similani is chasing him down, he wraps him up and pulls him out. End stuff here. And Herschel Yankees needed to make that interception because the Lions were looking good there. But that's what I keep saying. There's a penalty. For what? So it's a penalty here, apparently for a dangerous tackle, which I think is very harsh. I mean, it's a foot race here between... That's not a high tackle for me. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can talk about over the shoulder, but I mean, you look at the type of tackle there. He ducks into it as well. He ends up tackling him over here. So I think that's quite a harsh call, to be honest. But anyway, the Stormers are on the 5 meter with the, and they'll go, oh no. They shipped it back to Manambi, who I thought was all for money was going to go over, but it's well defended. And Kitsov bounces over Carlusari. He doesn't manage to get the ball down. Some desperate defending here for the Lions. There's a lot of space out wide with the Stormers. Hirsch-Yankees goes. Abner van Reenen goes. Willemse, it's a potential intercept there from Ras McClana, I think it was. The knock-on's backwards. Evan van der Merwe goes for it. Some desperate defense here from the Lions, but they're standing strong. Okay, advantage over for the knock-on. The Stormers now bringing the backline into play. That almost looked like a little bit of obstruction. The Stormers are over through Dan du Plessis. And that was kind of inevitable. Just too much pressure over there. Andrew Stewart saying you can have the best props in the world if your locks aren't doing the jobs, your front row aren't with the squad. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think if you look at both both lock pairings, I think they're fairly equally inexperienced. I mean, you've got what? Aaron van Rijn and David Mayhays, and then you've got Ruben Schoeman and Reinhard Northnakel. So Schoeman probably the best of the four. Yeah, just way too much space out there for the Stormers. The Lions defensive line caught wanting. I still go back. I think it's a bit of a harsh high tackle, but well read space there from the Stormers. And Adnan van Reenen, will he line up his first conversion of the day? Scott Graham saying, looking forward to seeing the new Guinness Pro 16 League in September. I do think the new season will go ahead and S teams will be allowed to come to the UK, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and Italy. Well, I hope so. I hope so. That's what we signed up for, and that's what we want to see. Abner van Reenen has pulled that. That is a horrible effort from Abner van Reenen. Yeah, I mean it's close to being obstruction. I don't think you'll call it, but Burger Oendal comes up to try and tackle Dan du Plessis, and he kind of runs around Bongi and Banambi, which sort of cuts out the space for Burger Oendal. I mean, I'm not going to be silent and say it should be a penalty or anything, but that was close to being obstruction. Stormers let him to go to the boot immediately from the kickoff as Damien Willems that pumps it up. For Yun, characteristically good under the high ball. Now Jordan Hendricks spots a bit of space. It's a bit of a nothing kick. Edward van der Merwe is backtracking. He's looking to run now. Gets past from one. Gets the offload away as well. Kitsov brushes off MJ Pulsar. He's eventually brought down. Quick ball here from the Stormers. A flat pass here from Sergio Peterson, who runs straight into Courtney Kassan. Turnover's been made by the Lions. So it's available for the Lions. Nice turnover there. I don't know who it was. Jordan Henderson now will go to the boot. He kicks it high towards the touchline. And after a bit of miscommunication, Edward van der Merwe eventually takes the ball. He goes inside to David Willems, who kicks on the floor. Sees some space in behind there. That's a very nice kick. It'll start just before the 22 meters. Very nicely worked there by the Stormers fullback. Took his time, looked up, decided on what the best option was. He went to the boot, went for the grubber in behind, and he's found some nice territory for the Stormers. Bit of a messy period of play there. Not too many phases there, and then a pretty sloppy turnover at the breakdown. The breakdown's actually been a problem for both sides so far. The Lions have lost 3 or 4 at the breakdown, and Stormers conceded the penalty. So I think that's an area both sides need to try and sort out for the second half. Very uncharacteristic. It's the one sort of area where the Lions have been quite good. You know, they don't have the biggest pack. When Willem Alberts walks into the field, that's going to make a big difference. But they don't have the biggest pack. But it's quite a mobile pack, and that's where they sort of thrive. They try and make a nuisance at the breakdown, try and slow down the ball. That's a clean line-out win as Andrew Warner chips ahead. And it's popped up from him. He's going. He's got Hendricks on the outside. Has he got the pace? Go back on the inside. Go back on the inside. Chicken wing pass. MJ Pulsar over the line. Score their second. Thank you very much. Andrew Warner, I take everything back. I said you shouldn't have started this week. You created that. And yeah, my bad. My bad. If that's what you're going to do to prove me wrong every week. The Lions are over. It's MJ Pulsar with the try. And I thought Jordan Henderson had actually butchered it, because he hadn't been on the inside and ran towards the outside, but eventually managed to get the pass in. Andrew Warner doesn't have the pace. He sucks in two players. Jordan Henderson steps inside of Sergio Peterson as Damian Willemse comes in for the pass. Little chicken wing over the top. MJ Pulsar, fantastic support running, and he goes over uncontested. So, on debut, the 19-year-old Jordan Hendrickson with a try assist. We'll take that. Thank you very much. Andrew Stewart saying there's a shift towards not tackles above chest. Now you can't even grab the collar from behind and it's high. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for, this sort of being a high tackle. And I understand that it gets. But I mean, when you're chasing after someone and they step inside and you kind of end up going, I mean, it wasn't like he tackled Yankees over here. It was on the shoulder. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose it's above. But I just think it gets a little bit, I mean, how do you make that cover tackling? When you're running from this side, he's cutting back from you. I mean, you physically cannot get lower than him. But we'll take it. We'll take it. We're on the board. We're 17-8. Come on, the Lions. Let's move. Sean B, is Warren Whiteley a coach now? He is indeed. Pretty much hasn't officially retired, but has said that, he's going to have potentially another procedure. And that's... Oh, I thought it was going to be out in the full. Yeah, so his knee's buggered, really. And he basically said that he hasn't ruled out a playing return, but he needs to just... It's actually quite sad. He was saying at the moment he's just in pain a lot, so he can't, kick a ball around with his children. He says until he can do that at home without pain, he's not even going to think about coming back. So he is part of the coaching setup now, which I think is a great move, because I think that he is such an inspiration, such an important part of everything that the Lions are, So I think he'll be a very good coach, very good people's person, speaks well, communicates well, is very highly respected. And Rhiannon now with a decent run, a nice little pass at the back there, but I think it moved forward. Yeah, it did. To do actually maybe saying Hendrickson, yeah, try assist on debut, 2 conversions as well. So sitting with 4 points at the moment, a nice start for the 19-year-old. And the Lions are just playing Lions rugby. This is what, I mean, the first couple of games, trying to play a kicking game. The kick chases were pretty poor. The defense has been pretty poor. But this is what the Lions are all about. A couple of chip kicks in behind, looking for gaps, spreading the ball out wide, and trying to run the Stormers off their feet. And it's working. So long may that continue. Andrew Stewart saying, yep, that's the rule. I'm afraid I agree, but what can you do? Yeah. It's so difficult, isn't it? Because they do. I mean, player welfare does have to be the most important thing. We've got a bit of a drinks break here. I don't know who's getting some attention. So I understand that there's definitely a need for... MJ Pulsar's got a bit of a blood nose. I understand the reasoning. And I know that you want to make it safe and stuff like that. For me, it just becomes, in that particular instance, when you are chasing down a player who is, I mean, especially Yankees, is the shortest guy on the field. And he, as you come towards it, and then ducks into you, I mean, how are you tackling him? You don't have time to get low. I mean, because if you're getting low, I mean, unless you're putting in a diving tackle and going wrapping your ankles, if you're stepping back into you physically cannot get lower than him, or else he's going to get away from you. You don't have the time to stop and get low. So it's quite a difficult tackle to make now, and those sort of covering tackles. Like I said, your best option is to try and sort of almost dive in around the hips and the ankles and try and wrap them up like that. But the problem with that is if they've got a support runner, going for the hips or going for the ankles means that you can't prevent the offload. So, yeah, it's difficult to do a ball and all tackle without it being high if you're chasing after a player and coming from in behind. So, interesting to see how that sort of develops, and the fact that lots of players now have to rework their attitude towards tackling, their technique. Big ask for this, the defense coaches, and trying to rework that and trying to decide how they're going to manage that whole instance. But it's interesting how the game's progressing at the moment. Quite an interesting sort of time, I suppose, in rugby, because, yeah, lots of law changes, lots of different attitudes, lots of bit of a spotlight on the safety of it. So officials are going to be under a big spotlight, and as well are the officials who make the rules, actually. Right, so we have another scrum here on the halfway line. So far, the scrums have been pretty even, actually. And it looks like another solid scrum there. Bit of a second shot from the Lions. I think it's a bit of a tight head. It's popped out, so we'll have a reset. Yeah, the scrums have been quite even. So I don't know if that means that the Lions blocks and Frankie Horn's helping a bit at the back there, but I tell you that Carly Sardi versus Steven Kitsoff battle actually looks like it's going to be a very good one. Carly Sardi obviously, I wouldn't say much to prove, but playing against his old side, knew he wasn't going to get a chance with the amount of props that the Stormers had, and I think, to be honest, I think if they look now, they'd probably have him back. So Randall North Narco's gone off. So Willem Alberts is on. That's definitely going to help the scrum. Yeah, so Randall North Narco. I don't know if it's a cut on his nose, if it's just a blood nose, but they can't get that bleeding to stop. So he comes off. Willem Alberts is on. That's a nice big addition to the pack. Really good to have him back. And to be honest, I was quite skeptical at the signing at first. But I think given the lack of experience and, to be brutally honest, the quality in the Lions scrum, I think it's actually been a very good addition. So Storm is put in. And it's a big second shot from the Lions. And it's a penalty to the Lions. Come on! That's a big, big moment. That is a huge moment. To win a penalty against that front row is a big moment. I think Willem Alberts that added extra weight has paid dividends there. So at the moment, we're 25 minutes in. The Lions are 17-8 up. Jordan Henderson is now going to back a 50-meter penalty attempt, which I think is a good move, actually. And this is what I said. Lions at home, you can never rule them out. So it's a lot of rugby to play here, but that's a huge moment. Steve Satoli, they're getting the upper hand on Frans Malherbe. I think if you had to give an MVP or most improved player for the Lions in the last 12 months, I'm giving it to Steve Satoli. Losing Dylan Smith was massive for the Lions, but he's come in leaps and bounds, and that was just shown there. Right, so Jordan Henderson, 55 meters. He's kicked 3 from 3 so far in his career in the thing, and it's moving off to the right. Had the distance and some, but didn't quite have the accuracy. So a kick missed by the 19-year-old. The first thing he's done wrong all day, really. Scott Graham saying, Stephen, do you think that the SA teams will be okay in the British weather, especially in Glasgow and Connacht when the rain and wind and very cold? No, we're not going to be okay. Look, I suppose it depends on the team. I think the Bulls are... Jake White's a very clever man, and he is building a side that can play in the Northern Hemisphere. So, Mornay staying, look, we know he's getting 37 and stuff like that, but, Johan Goosen, he's bringing a lot of players who have played in these conditions and can play that sort of game. So I think the Bulls will be quite good. I think the Lions are probably going to be the side that struggles the most. You look at the conditions right now at Emirates Airline Park. It is warm, it is dry, it is perfect conditions for running rugby, and that's where they play 95% of their games. At a very dry and very very cool stadium where it suits running rugby. So Lions, and also they don't really have the players for sort of a tactical kicking game or a nice, tight game. You've got players like Wandisile Similani who likes to throw the ball around a lot, a couple of tricky offloads and stuff like that. Stormers have won a penalty, by the way, and it's a very nice touch finder. They found touch on the 5 meter. So I think that teams like the Sharks also could probably do quite well, I think, with Kern Bosch's boot. But I think it's going to be a very big learning gap, and I think that's why it's going to be a huge plus for SA Rugby in general, this whole going overseas, because I think that we're going to have a chance to actually learn how to play in these conditions, which will only help the Springboks. Equally, I think it's going to be interesting to see how those teams fare when they come to South Africa. And you're playing at altitude. You play at Emirates Airline Park, and it's relatively warm and dry. If you're going to be playing a game in November, you could be playing in 28, 30 degrees on a Saturday afternoon. Now, that's something that not a lot of those teams are going to be used to. So I think we're going to see a massive shift in the home advantage and away advantage for the Pro 16. So I think it's going to be really cool, actually. I think it's going to be a whole different sort of dimension. And it's going to help both sides. It's going to help. The Stormers have got an penalty advantage, by the way. They parked on the try line. There's some desperate defense here by the Lions. They've got another penalty here for tackle not rolling. They've spilt the ball, so I'm sure we'll go back. Yeah, we'll go back for the line out. I mean, for the penalty. Yeah, it's gonna favor both. It's gonna favor all the teams. You know, it's gonna give chances like, as you say, places like Connacht and Glasgow, where they're used to playing very wet and windy conditions. Now they're gonna come to South Africa and play in very dry and calm conditions, which suits a very different style of rugby to what they usually play. So that means that when you then got Scottish players coming to play an outgoing tour against the Springboks, it's not going to be like, well, we've hardly ever played in these conditions. You know, they play in these conditions 4 times in a season. So I think it's just good for rugby, to be honest. I think, you know, to be able to play in the same time zone, so you don't have to worry about jet lag, but be able to play in different conditions, very, very different conditions. I mean, even playing in Johannesburg is very different to playing in Durban, very different to playing in Cape Town, and then going over and playing in Italy, going and playing in Wales, going and playing in Scotland. It's going to be so nice for all these players to experience all these different conditions. And I think that the national sides will be the biggest beneficiaries. So Stormers have to use their backline. The maul wasn't going anywhere. And it's been stolen by MJ Pulser, who conceded the initial penalty. So a nice bit of redemption for him. And now Willem Alberts will carry the ball up for the first time. He's not supporting his body weight. He's still not supporting his body weight. No, wait! Mate, are you not watching? The first time he went there, he was supporting his body weight. He then lost it and wasn't. He was basically lying on the floor and then stands up again. And then you award the penalty. Eddie Jacobs, but equally, the Lions are not protecting their player on the ground. It's really starting to piss me off. This is the second time, 3-4 times. Every single time the Lions get a turnover, the man is isolated and the Stormers are winning that ball on the ground. Not sure that was legal, but the sentiment remains where MJ Pulser does brilliantly to take the pressure off, and then we can't be bothered to just look after the ball. Herschel Yankees with a bit of an injury at the moment. He's had a very 50-50 game. A lot of good for him and a lot of bad, actually. So I would say consistency is probably the issue he needs to. So, right, so the Stormers are going for another more here. They failed in their previous couple attempts. But this looks like a much better set, although still struggling to sort of find some go-forward ball. And it's gone down, so Bongi Manambi has to use it. How has he scored? How has Bongi Manambi run into 3 players and scored? That is shocking defense. The Stormers hit back 17-13 in the 31st minute. Very close game at the moment. Bongi Manambi, I mean, that's just raw power, isn't it? MJ Pulser, Jordan Henderson comes to help, but too much power there from Bongi Manambi. His body position was fantastic. And they can't stop him there. And he goes over and the Stormers hit back. Well, it's a very even game. So I suppose it's the neutral you're smiling. Because of Admin van Rena slots, it's going to be 17-15 with 8 minutes to go. Benetton only unbeaten side so far in Rainbow Cup Europe. Benetton versus Bulls final. Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, you never know. But I'll be surprised, put it that way. Right, another kickoff here. The Lions have gone to the same place every single time, so I can put a lot of money on the fact that it's going towards the 22 on the left-hand side, which is exactly where it's gone. It's a good take. I don't know if they've lost a step to 22 or not. They're in the 22. I don't know if it was taken outside the 22. Steven Kitsop, the man who carries it up. I think they've got the set to 22, so Herschel Yankees... He's going towards the touch. She does, and yeah, he did have a safety of the 22. So it's a good touch finder from Herschel. Finds touch on the halfway line. Please do smash a like if you're watching, by the way. 2 likes. Let's see if we can get that up to 10 before the half's end. So, yeah, if everybody watching right now, just smash that like button. Then we'll be up there immediately. North Narkle's back on for the Lions. It was a blood replacement. So he is back on. Willem Alberts will leave the field for a bit. And also, please do subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. Bottom right-hand corner there. We've got the Bulls versus the Sharks later. It should be a cracker, that game. It's not a great lineup from the Lions. And Herschel Yankees has sprung on it, but he's knocked it forward. So the Lions have got possession. It's just bubbling everywhere. Once the Similani gets caught up with it, and Andrew Warner eventually takes it into contact. So the Lions have got possession. They don't have a scrum off at the moment, but Tuka jumps in there. This is very, very sloppy. Hendrickson decides to put his head down, and he eventually gets brought down. But yeah, the Lions just need a bit of settled ball here. Andrew Warner asks Steve Satorle to carry it up. Waiting for his fly half to get up. And Hendrickson now kicks it downfield. Big kick from him there. So Van Reenen returns the favor. Hendrickson well positioned. He gives it to Elo Fiyun, who spots some side towards the right-hand side there. The kicks towards a gap. I think that's going to go too far. And that's just rolled over the try line. So that'll be a 22 for the Stormers. It's a goal line, actually. Yeah, it's a goal line. It's a goal line 22 as per the new rules. So that's an interesting call, actually. Maybe a bit of inexperience from Abner Ferreira. We've got the new rules, which means that if you dot it down, it's not a 22, it's a goal line drop, which means that all the Stormers players have to retreat to behind the try line. The Lions have to stay 5 here, but suddenly it's actually a bit of a tricky situation for the Stormers. We've got time off here. Okay, we've got a captain's referral here from Stephen Kitsoff. He reckons it's been I don't know if it's a tackle or if it's a hit on Herschel Yankees, who's been in the wars today. He's been down twice with an injury. So it's been quite a contentious thing, this captain's review. A lot of people don't like it. No, nice try, mate. So Jordan Henderson says it's a tackle on. Okay, so he's making contact. I mean, yeah, thank you. So they're saying the ball carrier's in a low position. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. This is what I'm saying. Herschel Yankees can complain all he likes, but Herschel Yankees is going for the ball at the bottom there. He's pretty much about 4 centimeters above the ground. And as it comes in, Jordan Henderson comes in with the hit. And he hits him here. But bearing in mind that here is about this much off the ground. About this much, if I'm going to be fair. So it wasn't intentional. I mean, Jordan Henderson himself was very low. And they're saying there's no foul play. They've lost the captain's challenge as a result. We've got this time back on. So I like that. I think that, if you're going to look at the letter of the law and sit there and say, well, it's hitting the shoulder, it is. But the fact that they said a mitigating factor, he was very low to the ground. There was no intent there to be high. So I enjoy that. I enjoy that a little bit of logic comes into it. So the Stormers have lost their captain's challenge. That's Stephen Kitsoff who referred that. So they've lost their captain's challenge. Meanwhile, the Lions try to go with a bit of a cross kick to Raz McClana, who's had been very quiet, and have conceded a line out. So the Stormers will start with a line out about 5-10 meters on from their 10 meter. A good clean win from the Stormers, who are looking to set up another maul. And they've gained a bit of momentum here. Gained about 10 meters. They are now onto their 10. Stormers kicked ahead and the Lions have retained possession. So I think with 3 minutes to go for the Lions, it's probably about seeing the rest of the half out. There's no need to do anything particularly fancy. You don't want to concede points at this stage, put it that way. I think that's the most important thing. Warner back, he's kicked ahead. Warner's chasing afterwards, and it's popped back for the Lions, who've won it back. And it's a very intelligent carry there from Chituka, who twisted in the tackle. Some nice offloads here. There we go. 1-2. Similani. And again, EW Viljoen. Has he got the pace? He's up against Billy Engelbrecht. He'll go all the way. Come on. Into the corner. The Lions go. Thank you very much. Try number 3. And that is the Lions. That is how the Lions play. Quick offloads. Nice hands there. Nice counter attack. Viljoen up against Billy Engelbrecht. You know who's going to win that fight. And that all comes down to the good kick chase. You know, the cliched saying, a kick is only as good as chase. Well, that was brilliant chase by Ras Baklana. The ball popped back. MJ Pulser got into it. A couple of offloads. A lot of space out wide. EW Viljoen gets the ball, and it's Willie Engelbrecht who's not going to catch him. Similani with the official try assist. He made the last pass. Damon Williams had rushed off his line. He knew that if he did not make that tackle, it was going to be try time. And unfortunately, the fantastic hands from Similani was too much for the Stormers 15. So the Lions hit back on the stroke of half time. And they will go into half time. Well, hopefully, if we can just make sure we can maintain the kickoff, they should go into half time with at least a 7-point advantage. A difficult kick here from Jordan Hendrickson. He's right up against the touchline. He is right-footed, though, so he can try and curl it in. He decides to try and fade it out, and it goes out the other way. So he misses out that one. So that's the second kick that he's missed. There will be a kickoff. The Lions have got a minute to try and defend their lead. Yeah, it's fantastic handling. Brilliant, brilliant offload. A couple of quick passes. The final offload there from Similani was perfect. Right, 20 seconds to play. All the Lions have to do is catch it and get the ball to the... And one more phase. And kick for touch. Thank you very much. A 7-point lead for the Lions at half time. That's exactly what we want. Well, still anyone's game at the moment. A very close game, 22-15. I must admit, I'm very impressed with the Lions. They've played some much more... They've played Lions rugby. They've gone to what they know. Good handling, lots of continuity, a high-tempo game. And this will hopefully really start to show in the last sort of... the last 20 minutes. That's where the Lions need to use that home ground advantage. Attack the Stormers, get on that front foot, run them down, and those last 20 minutes, the Stormers get a bit tired. Then you can really sort of go for the jugular. Because that's what Johan Ackerman used to do. You know, he pretty much said, as long as we're within 10 points in the last 20 minutes, I back us to win games. Scott Graham saying, Stephen, will you be watching the rest of the Pro 14 Rainbow Cup? Yeah, I have been trying to keep an eye on games. I haven't done any watch-alongs or anything like that. Because I'm often working shifts and stuff like that during the time. Unfortunately, when you're when you're a sports journalist, your weekends are your busiest times. So I always try to make sure that I've got time around the SA games so I can cover that, but I'm often on shift and doing stuff during the other games. But I have been watching it a little bit. Probably not as much as I'd want to. So, yeah, maybe we'll try and do a bit of a video, a bit of a sort of an update on what's going on there and try and start sort of building up. Seeing as we're going to have a final, I think that's going to be quite exciting. That North-South final. But let's go and find some stats for that first half, shall we? Okay, it is half time, so let's chuck that up. Da, 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 da. Right, so where are we? It is the 15th. Where is our Rainbow Cup? Right, here we are. Right, so stats from the first half. This is as per Ultimate Rugby, so if they're wrong, do not take it up with me, take it up with them. Right, possession. We've got 46% for the Lions, 54% for the Stormers. Territory, 54% for the Stormers as well, which shows you the Lions are really been hitting them on the counter-attack as much as they can. The Lions haven't really played in the Stormers half as much as the Stormers have been playing in the Lions half, so that's about fair. Yeah, so tries, look, 3 tries to 2 at the moment, 2 conversions to 1. Each fly half kicked a penalty. Defenders beaten, the Stormers have beaten 12 defenders to the Lions 6, so the Lions' defense has not been great, to be honest, and that's about right. I think that's defense has always been a bit of an issue when it comes to the Lions, and something that they need to try and rectify sooner rather than later. So it hasn't been great. Clean breaks, 3 from the Stormers, 3 from the Lions. Gain line carries, 37 from the Stormers, 30 from the Lions. Offloads, 9 from the Stormers, 5 from the Lions. Turnovers 1, 6 from the Lions, 5 from the Stormers. Kicks from hands 17 to 13. Rucks 125 to 29. And yeah, this is what I'm talking about. The Lions defense has been really, really substandard today. 69% tackle success rate, making 31 out of 45 tackles. On the other hand, the Stormers have made 86% of their tackles, 38 of 44, which has shown you how the Lions have been quite opportunistic. I mean, if you look at their tries, very much, I mean, you got the kick over the top from Andrew Warner, who set up the second try. The first try was an intercept from Wasina Similani. That third try there was a very good kick chase and then some nice hands. So the Lions have been feeding on the scraps, but feeding on the scraps really, really well. And that, I suppose, comes to it. You know, when the Stormers are making lots of tackle stuff like that, you have to be a bit more inventive. They're not breaking the gain line. The Lions don't have players who can break the gain line. You can, you know, brush off tackles. They're going to struggle. They're always going to struggle with that sort of dimension. But when they start doing things like kicking in behind, competing at kicks, trying to play quite a high tempo game, looking for those gaps, that is when they come into their own. And that's what they've done today. The goal kicking success rate, 67% from Stormers, 60% from the Lions. The line out success, the Lions have lost 1 line out, the Stormers haven't won all of their 9. And the scrums have been 100% for the Lions and 0% for the Stormers. They had 1 scrum and they actually lost it. So that's quite interesting. No, I'm talking to people here. So if we're looking at some individual performances, I want to look at Jordan Hendrickson, who's on debut at 19 years old. So it's quite, I mean, it's a big call to have him play at all. But he's had 7 kicks from hand. His goal kicking's been all right. The 2 that he missed were quite difficult chances. So he's got a 60% kick success rate. He's beaten 1 defender. He's had 1 offload. He's got a try assist. He made 13 meters. He has not missed a tackle. Made 3 of his 3 tackles and 1 turnover. So I think it's been quite a good start from the young fly half. For the Stormers, I think Herschel Youngster should be an interesting one to look at. He's made 1 clean break. 67% tackle success rate, 22 passes, 66 meters gained. That was from that 1 break, the intercept there where he ran to the other end. 4 turnovers won, 4 turnovers conceded, so it's fairly even there. Trying to think of some big players for both sides. I think Damien Willemse has been quite lively. I think they probably want to get Damien Willemse more into the game. A player who's very good on the counter-attack and probably needs to be more involved with the attacking line. He's made 18 meters when he's been called upon. He's made 2 offloads. Only been asked to make 1 tackle, which he did make. Anybody else? MJ Pulsar, I thought he had quite a good first half. Interested to see how many turnovers. Yeah, 2 turnovers, 1. 5 tackles made, 1 missed tackle. Scored a try, 29 meters gained. Beaten the defender. He's been quite lively for the Stormers. Vinny Engelbrecht's back into the side. So I think with a bit of a point to prove. He obviously got a red card in that first game, which was rescinded, to be fair to him. But discipline wasn't an issue for him. He's had quite a quiet game. Just made the 3 tackles. We're looking at our engine room. Ernst van Rijn. He's been quite industrious at the lineouts. Trying to think of the big defenders. Bongi Manambi. He's made 4 carries, made 4 tackles. Nothing really to speak about. I wouldn't say it was really half of individual performances, really. Yeah. I think Colosardi's been pretty solid at the moment. That front row battle is becoming very interesting between the Springbok front row and the Lions front row. So let me know what you think is going to happen there. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Kickoff should be in about 5 minutes. We'll be back then. So don't go away. Please make sure you like the video as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We are on, I'm not going to lie to you, we're on 1,317 subscribers. So let's see if we can get up to 1,320 by the end of the game. So 3 subscribers. So if you're watching this now and you're not subscribed, please subscribe by the time we get back. Let's see if we can get up to 1,320 by the end of the game. And I'll be back with you guys very, very soon. And we are back. The players are taking to the field, and we should have kickoff in the next couple of minutes. So again, very evenly poised. Lions obviously 7 points ahead, but still very much are the Stormers in the game at the moment. A quick try and a couple of points, and they're right back into it. So I think for the Lions, it's important to score first. You know, when you've got a 7-point lead at halftime, it's very much both ways. But if you can go and score a try early, suddenly that 7-point lead becomes a 12-point lead, you know, or a 14-point lead, and that's work to make to catch up there. So I think it's I think it's the most important thing for the Lions is to score first. So just ready for kickoff here. Let's make sure we've got our clock all ready. Right, so the Stormers are playing left to right. It's a good take from Ruben Schoeman off the kick-off, so it's a nice start there from the Lions. So what do you reckon? Let me know what you think. Who is taking this? Are the Lions going to hang on for their first victory of the tournament? Will the Stormers turn things around for their first win of the tournament? And I think if the Lions win, I mean, you look at it and you think, yeah, there's a lot of injuries for the Stormers, but I think on the balance of play, I do think the Stormers side on paper is a much better side. So it's interesting that the Lions, and it's quite interesting because the Lions coaching staff have come under quite a lot of fire, saying that they're not experienced enough. And yet, I would argue that this Lions side is outperforming themselves. It's a very young side, very inexperienced side. I mean, you've got one Springbok cap player on the field right now for the Lions. You look at the Stormers, and they've got 5, I think. I'm not gonna lie to you, yeah, 5. So it's interesting. Top Graham was saying, Stephen, I have a question. Do you think the SA team should be allowed to join the European Champions Cup and Challenge Cup? I don't see why not. I think that if you're going to be part of the Pro 16, then why shouldn't you be allowed to be? Oh, that's a nice kick in behind from Jordan Henderson. Why shouldn't you be allowed to play in the European Champions Cup and Challenge Cup? If it makes these competitions better, if it brings more fans to these competitions, if it brings more revenue, why not? As a SA fan, I would love to see the SA teams. That's a fantastic kick from Jordan Hendrickson. Roll out. That is brilliant from the 19-year-old. I mean, on the right-hand side, looked up, saw a lot of space on literally the opposite corner then, puts the kick behind. It bounces favorably, and he's pinned the Stormers right back to pretty much within their 22. So it's a very nice kick. I've been very impressed with Jordan Hendrickson. We're now going to have Ethan Chatuka on for Frankie Horn. Another Chatuka. We've already seen how good Vincent has been. So nice to see his brother on the field as well. But yeah, I mean, I think that it can only if it makes the European Champions Cup better, then why not? I mean, Bulls versus Racing, Bulls versus Harlequins. Isn't that what you want to see? So it's quite interesting. You've got Jordan Hendrickson on debut, and you've got Adna van Renen. Very much. So, I mean, later we're going to see Mornestein versus Kerwin Bosch. Yeah, that's sealing off from him, Tutuka. That's not great. Penalty there to the Stormers. So, later on, we're going to see 2 very experienced fly halves who are vying for Springboks places, really. And in this game, we've got Adna van Renen, and you've got Jordan Hendrickson. I mean, I think Adna van Renen's about 22. I don't want to lie to you. Let me check. Yeah, he's 22 years old. Shout out. So, yeah, so you got Abner van Renen who's 22 and played very little at this level. And you got Jordan Henderson who's 19 years old on full debut. Made a couple of appearances off the bench, but on full debut today. And I think that Jordan Henderson looked the much better fly half so far. But having said that, Adna van Renen is not trying to make a case for himself. He finds a nice touch finally. He's got the Stormers into the 22. Scott Graham saying that's what I think to it, and it'll open the tournament up and improve rugby. Yeah, just you know what? And I don't have any time. I have no time for Australia right now. After that whole thing of we'll host the rugby championship, come to us, and then the cricket side saying that we can't come to South Africa, we can't come travel because of your COVID situation. But we can host the British and Irish Lions tour for you. I've got no time for Rugby Australia and Cricket Australia. And that's it's a terrible defending. The Stormers are over here, by the way, but it's just horrific defending from the Lions. I mean, Master Tennyson just looked up and started to run through about 17 players. This is blooming ridiculous. Van Renen cuts back in, spills the ball, so it's very messy, and then I mean, that's horrendous I think it's Rainer Northnock who gets completely stepped there by Marcel Tennyson. It's a very good try from him, but very poor defending from the Lions. Sorry, I'm busy talking about Rugby Australia. Hang on, we're going to have a captain's referral here, I think. Yeah, we will. We have a captain's referral, so I can have some time to talk about it. Yeah, I've got no time for Australia, so I don't really want to be involved with them. And for New Zealand, I mean, we've been part of SANZAR for years and years and years, and South Africa has brought in a lot of revenue for SANZAR, and yet got very little in return. The traveling is a mission. We're playing games at 6 in the morning, at 8 in the morning, at playing in Argentina, kick off at like 11:30 at night. I mean, who wants to do that? Who wants to stay at 11:30 to try and watch a game? You start drinking at 7 o'clock and you're too pissed to watch the game. So it makes so much sense for us to be part of the European system. And yes, it's a 10, 11-hour flight, which is a bit different to their sort of 4 or 5 hours at push. But it's the same time zone, so we can all play the rugby at the same time. There's no jet lag or anything, and it just makes so much more sense. And from a South African point of view, instead of just playing New Zealand and Australian sides and one South American sides, you can potentially play against sides from 6 different nations. So these are familiar players, these are familiar types of teams, familiar types of tactics, familiar conditions, So it makes so much sense for us to go north. To your saying exciting families coming through up the Hendrickses and the Chatukas. Yeah, it is actually quite cool to see. I mean, what do we love more than a nice story like 2 family members playing and stuff like that? And I do think that the Hendrickses, in fact, if the Lions were intelligent, go and throw all the money at Jaden and bring him up. I think it's probably more likely that the Sharks would take Jordan, but it'd be quite cool to see how those two develop. They were robbed of the opportunity to play with each other for the Ace Under 20s last season. But I'll tell you what, they both looked very, very at home at this level. Okay, so basically what's happening is they've tried to go for a captain's review, but they can't find a TV angle to see what they were actually talking about. So they were about to say basically leave it because there wasn't an angle, but now apparently they've found an angle for it. I don't think they've actually got footage of what actually happened. Yeah, it's a very strange affair. I don't quite know what they were asking for there. I don't know if it was after the actual initial clearance, but it's a very strange affair. Either way, the Stormers try stands. They converted, so the scores are now even. I mean, it's a good run from Tennyson, but it's terrible defending by North Narkle. He's got a men for that because that's just 1-on-1 defending. That's just not good enough. Scott Graham saying, I do know rugby is more popular in South Africa, and with SA in Europe and the UK will improve rugby in our national teams as well. Mark saying the captain's referral taking way too much time. Get rid of it, I reckon. Well, both referrals have been lost, so we don't have to worry about that for the rest of the game. And the Lions have won a penalty from the kickoff. Get in. But as a Stormers fan, you are fuming. This is the second time they've done this. What is the point? What is the point of scoring points and then off the kickoff you could see the penalty and they can say, cool, thank you very much, we'll go to the corner. And if they score a try now, you might as well not have scored that try. Exit play, exit play, exit play. You've got to have a good exit game plan, and they haven't at the moment. So it's Hershey Yankees. It's a bit of a... I mean, it's difficult because the ball comes back and Hershey Yankees has to clean up, but the Lions are there like a flash. They're all over that breakdown and they win that penalty. And the Lions have gone to the corner, so they'll try and hit back. Saying too much time wasted. At least both captains' challenges are gone now. Yeah, I think that's always the biggest issue, is the time that's taken. And having said that, the Stormers have just won that line out, so it was a messy take, and Stephen Kitsow then jumped on the ball as it came down. Oh, but he almost knocked it out. Exit play has not been good from the Stormers here. I mean, if he had fumbled that, that's been another opportunity, another example of poor exit play. Okay, so it's a clearance from Yankees. They've made it just to about the 10-meter line. John now saying they need to learn like the Bulls. That's kick out after the kickoff. That's why I rate the Bulls so highly. I don't think they're the most exciting side to watch. I don't think they've necessarily... I mean, they've got their best players, but I don't think that they are player by player stupidly ahead of the rest of the teams. But they are so well coached. The basics, their line-out operates. Their scrum usually operates. They're, from the kickoff, they win the ball back. They've got a very clear exit strategy. They are a very well coached side. And that makes a lot of difference, The Lions again with the line out. Shatuka, it's uncontested this time. So they go towards the midfield with some forwards hanging around. Ruben Skuman carries it up. Quick ball. Hendrickson goes for Yun, who steps inside. Exactly. As Studio Gaming says, the Bulls win because they do the basics right. And it's so true. There's a nice quick ball here from the Lions. Haven't made too much ground yet. Tuka now. Emmanuel takes it up. He makes a few yards. Now Hendricks is back in the pocket. He goes up. That looks like it's going to be a bit long though. I think that's going to land on the other side of 22. So that should be marked. A mistake from the young fly half. Just kicked too deep there. I think it's the right idea. I think they were struggling to get going forward ball, so put them under a bit of pressure under the high ball, but just drifted a little bit too long. That's what I'm saying. As Copman, I do love SA. I've played alongside South African players, and they made me a better player too. Yeah, well, we try. We try. Yeah, I must admit, I'd far rather go north than have to deal with blooming Aussies and the Kiwis. I don't have too much. I don't have too much against New Zealand. I think there's a little bit of arrogance there, but as I said, I've got no time for Australia rugby at the moment, or Australia sport in general. So Adnan van Renen is off. We've got time off. I don't quite know what for. So Tim Sewell is on, back from injury. He's played for the Harlequins, so he's got some European experience. Another contested lineup from the Stormers, but the Lions do win it. Carly Sardi in the midfield. Puts his heads down. Andrew Warner's not going to go to the boot and put the timer back on. Sweels, first contribution. He takes the call cleanly, but it's a horrible pass to David Willemse, who's wrapped up. But the Stormers have lost it. I mean, that is Tim Sweels' fault there. I mean, jeepers. So Tim Sewell under the high ball, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if he dropped it or if he passed along the floor there. But a lot of pressure on David Willemse. The Lions completely swarm him and go over. Oh yeah, he fumbles it as he's trying to make the pop pass to David Willemse. So the Lions now kick to the corner. Jean Merrill saying, did you see the 53 win from the Blues against the Rebels? I actually haven't watched. I watched a little bit of. I watched the Hurricanes highlights against the Brumbies. One blank now. I watched a bit of those highlights in the gym yesterday. I haven't managed to watch much rugby. I've been literally yesterday. I was on shift all day, and unfortunately this morning I was running around. Almost missed this game, so I need to go back and watch those games. Andrew Stewart Neum saying this game, the way it seems to be going, will be a win for Lions no matter the score, because on paper we should be running away with it. You should be running away with it. And you've had opportunities. It's a bit like the Bulls game. But it's all about taking opportunities. To be fair, I think the Lions have rallied. I think that they've been a lot better today. A lot more accurate. And a lot more free. But I do think Jordan Hendricks has played a big part. So, yeah, then the Lions... I mean, it's very even at the moment. But I think the momentum's with the Lions at the moment. I mean, literally, they're parked out on the try line at the moment. But you're not going to score a try bashing it up against the Stormers. What the Lions need to do is suck a couple of phases up and then you go wider, people. You're not going to bully the Stormers. The tar, that's it. That's what it was. Yeah, I kind of saw some of the highlights while I was at the gym yesterday, but I haven't watched much Super Rugby. I've got it all lined up for my in-between watching between now and the Bulls game. The Lions still picking up and driving. I don't know why. We're not going to score a try like this, people. So there's an advantage. The Pulse is not going to go himself. Chaps, we've got an advantage. We've got an advantage. Chaps, we've got an advantage. Oh, we've got a try. Yeah, we'll take that. Thank you very much. I don't know who that was. I don't know how that was scored, but the Lions have scored there. Andrew Warner, hey, try assist, scored a try. I need to critique him more often. Well, credit where credit's due. It was very good ball retention here. Lots of phases, lots of relentless defense there from the Stormers. And Andrew Warner, yeah, spotting a little bit of a space. I think it's Francois Herbert who breaks the line, taking out Vincent Tuka, and that allows Warner up against Tim Sweel. He's not had a very good start to the game. Don't really know, saying try for Lions, another try for Lions, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the stream's going to be a little bit delayed, so chance of the time I'm seeing it here, you've already seen it. Scott Game saying Australia main sport is Australian rules, football and rugby league, and then cricket. Yeah, I just don't really care about Australia at the moment, to be honest. Another good kick there from Jordan Hendrickson. And Jan saying, how did you get access to the Bulls interviews? Good on you. So I'm part of all the media mailing lists. So Forever Sports, the whole idea of Forever Sports is fan-based, but with a bit of a sort of professional sort of side to it. So, I mean, I've worked as a sports journalist throughout my entire varsity career, which has finally come to an end, the ripe old age of almost 25. But yeah, so we've got media access to the Bulls. We've got media access to the Stormers so far. We're working on the Sharks and we're working on the Lions. And then we're going to try and get access to the Springboks as well. We have had access before, but we want to try and get access to the Springbok ones as well. So, for example, like the Lions tour, we can try and be in those press conferences and stuff. So I'm hoping to try and get the link for the Stormers press conference. So if you have any questions you'd like me to try and ask John Dobson and the likes, if we do get in there, then let me know. It's very messy at the moment. But yeah, so we try and sort of merge the two between being very fan-based and trying to bring all the fans in, as well as having we are genuinely a media company. We are registered and stuff like that. So if anybody's watching would like to write content, for example, if you'd like to have your say and write an article or anything like that for the website, anything like that, then yeah, the website's there's the email address. We're also looking for people to be on during fan forums, be part of live shows and stuff like that. We want to try and get more fan input. So if you want to be involved, it's Stephen@foreversports.net. Give me a shout, and yeah, become part of the movement. I wouldn't say we're really a movement yet, but maybe one day. Anyway, back to the rugby. We've got I think it's the Lions put in. I'm trying to see who's got the ball here. I think it was a knock on, yeah. So it's the Lions scrum here. It's right in front of the poles, right in their 22. So if they ever needed a big scrum, then this is when they needed it. Do the Lions have a bonus point because of the 4 tries or not? Yeah, they should do. I don't think the scoreboard's showing it, but we have scored 4. Yeah, we have scored 4 because it was for Yun, Tulsa, Similane, and thing. Yeah, we've scored 4 tries, so it should be a bonus point. The big thing for the Lions is to get the victory, get the win. I must admit, so if anybody hasn't seen, there's been a whole reshuffle of the British and Irish Lions series. The reason I mention it is because the Lions have now been included in the British and Irish Lions series. There will be a Lions versus Lions game at Emirates Airline Park. It's quite funny because a year ago I was fuming that there wasn't going to be a Lions game when it was first announced, because I'll say, the Lions have been the most consistently the best side in South Africa for years, and why wouldn't we get a Lions tour? And then I started sort of seeing our team in the last 2 games of this competition, instead of there saying, well, thank goodness we're not going to play the British and Irish Lions, because we don't look like a side that can compete. But this has been a much better performance, so hopefully... It's a penalty. Yeah, thank you. Hershey Yankees does that all the time. He sits offside there trying to disrupt the scrum off, and he's finally been penalised for it. So to get out of jail free there from the Lions, poor from Herschel. But yeah, so the new Lions fixtures will have a game against the Lions. There's no more SA versus Invitational game. There is still the SAA game, but it has been reworked so that they're only going to be in 2 provinces. It's 3 games in Joburg, or 2 games in Joburg at Emirates Airline Park, then a game at Loftus, then 3 games in Cape Town, and then 2 games in Joburg back at FNB Stadium. Jan says, ask Jake about the fact that he has 3 good fly halves now and what his plans are with them is morning every time they decide to sign Goosen. Yeah, I think I'll try when I'm next managed to get in there. So we always get given the recording, but sometimes we don't get access to actually be in the press conference itself, whereas we have been in the Stormers ones this week. So I'll try and ask. I think the plan is for Goosen is to be the fly half. I think, Mornay Stain's 37 in July. So I think that the plan was for Goosen to start a fly half. Although, as you say, I think Chris Smith's a quality player. So it'll be interesting to see what... Jake White was talking about a back line. I think he wanted Ambrose Papier, Johan Goosen, Cornel Hendricks, Stedman Hans. Obviously, you got Shavina Jacobs, Majosh Tumware, but I mean, you want Kurtley Orense back there, and you wanted Damien Willemse. So that was sort of the dream backline that Jake White was trying to build. So I'm assuming he's going to put Johan Goosen at fly half and try and get him. But he said he wants to make him a Springbok again. Speaking of Springboks, 2 of them have left the park. Frans Malherbe and Steven Kitshoff are off, which means Ali Vermaak and Netling Bashir are on, as well as Skoe and Tabeni. So we've actually got a whole new front row for the Stormers. And I think that it'll be a bit of a disappointing day in the office for Kitshoff and Frans Malherbe because they didn't dominate the scrums. That's it. I think Chris Smith's class. I just don't want to see him due to lack of leave due to lack of confidence from Jake. Yeah, it's a strange one. I mean, I tell you what, the Stormers need a fly half. So I think that if he does leave, I reckon the Stormers would be a good destination for him. Because I just think that you can see he's not going to get backed. You know, I mean, he's been given chances, but Morné Steyn is the number one. We know this. We know that unless he's in the box squad, he will start against the British and Irish Lions for the Bulls. And they've signed Johan Goosen, and I don't think they've signed him as a centre. I think the plan is for him to play at fly half. So I think Chris Smith is going to be on the bench a lot. If I was him, I would seriously look at the Stormers, who Kate Bolter's out for a while, but all very young fly half. I think Abner van Reen is not really making much of his opportunities. I'm not a massive Tim Swiel fan. I think he's decent. I don't think he's that special. So I think Chris Smith, if he wants opportunity, will probably have to leave the Bulls. I think Johan Goosen will. And that's a penalty to the Lions at scrum time. Yeah, I'd say he's going to cry if he goes to the Stormers. Well, at this stage, I'm not taking him at the Lions because I quite like the look of Hendricks, and we've got Gianni Lombard. So, yeah, he's not coming to the Lions. This is much better from the Lions front row. This is what I was hoping to have seen from Carlos Sardi last weekend. He's a very good scrummager. I reckon one of the best in the country. I think that he could be rivaling Thomas Satoy with some consistency. I think he could be rivaling Thomas Satoy for a Springbok call-up. But they struggled last week, and I think it was more Steve Satori that struggled up against Thomas Satoy. But Carly Sardi today has been immense. Had a very good battle with Stephen Kitshoff now. He's just won that battle there. I think he's someone that's going to get a call-up in the next couple of years. So the Lions, and we've got, 24 minutes left on the clock. And they've lost the line out. Oh, they've actually won the line out. I don't know how that worked. Berger Undal carries it up to the 22. Now he managed to cut straight through the middle. His brother's outside him. He's still going. Oh, no! He's lost it. Oh, Emmanuel, he knows. He knows. No, he's not. He's celebrating. Well, he's celebrating. We're going to have to go back and look at this. If he scored this, then this is a brilliant try from Emmanuel Chatuka. My guy. Come on, the Chatukas. So, I mean, he's run a brilliant gap in between here. And then with 2 defenders on him, he's continued running and he's reached out and tried to get the ball down. I think he's knocked this on. He's very confident. But I think he's knocked this on. It's a great try regardless. Attempt regardless. And yeah, he's knocked it on. I thought so. It's a fantastic run though. Good on you, Emmanuel. Yeah, shame. He thought he had his first try. It's a fantastic run, so good on him. A brilliant effort. He's lost it right in the end. He had his brother backing him up. Your brother was coming, chap. Jan saying, do you think the Bulls need a better front row? And I'm curious if Johan could replace Cornell. Maybe he's also getting old. Yeah, that is the other option, is if Goosen goes into it inside. Although Cornell, I think, is about 34. So, 33. So I suppose he's still got another year or two. Look, at the end of the day, Bulls just love a bit of depth. I mean, Marcel Garcia still coming in that loose trio. In terms of the front row, do you know what the problem with the Bulls front row is? Is they never fit. I mean, I don't really rate Gerard Steenkamp and Morné Smith. But, I mean, they're very inexperienced. But, you know, when you think that if the Bulls had all their props at full fitness, your starting props are going to be Lizo Gqoboka and Trayvon Yekane. Now, that's a serious front row. At hooker, I thought Kobala was very good last weekend, although I do think that's probably one of the areas where they'd like to bring somebody in. But it's a fitness issue for me. I mean, if you've got Walker fit, you've got Inyakane fit, you've got Young Vessels is a very, very talented young prop. So they've got the players. It's just a case of sort of fitness for them. I think hooker, maybe they might look at bringing in a hooker. Interested to see what happens with Bonge Manambi, whether he goes to the Sharks, whether he commits to the Stormers. But yeah, so Hannah Investment saying, who are you rooting for? The Lions, the winners, the chaps, my boys. We'll always root for the Lions. Jimmy, what channel is the match on? Can I watch in England? I don't know if it's being shown in the UK. In the SA, it's on 201 on Supersport. Hey man, tackle! No man, tackle! You idiots! Oh, for you, and you're so slow, mate. You are so slow. How have you conceded that try? How? I mean, it dominated the entire half. The entire half. The Lions were all over them, and then one first time tackling. Oh. The Willemse wins the battle in the air, but I mean, there's still so much to do. He steps away from one and another. And then Viljoen is just so he's too slow. He doesn't even get anywhere near him. I mean, cart horse. I think we would have had a better chance if Carly Sardi was sitting at fullback. Oh my goodness me. I suppose I should add the points. Well, that's horrific from the Lions. Having said that, it's very good from Dane Willemse. It's a very good win. But I mean, I don't want to be that sour supporter, but if it's a good try, it's a great try. But I mean, he's just ran around 3 players there. I mean, how do you not make any of those tackles? Viljoen, too slow. I don't know who missed that second tackle. That was shocking. So McClanahan loses out the ball in here. Fine, fair enough. Then he steps inside MJ Palser. You've got to hit him there. I don't know who that second tackler is. That man is in trouble. And then Viljoen's far too slow. Edel van der Merwe, all the pace in the world, rounds him and goes underneath the poles. Tim Sweel has split the poles, so we're back. This better not be a draw. If this is a draw, I might retire. I hate draws. Do you guys remember that? I think there's an Australian chap who, after Super Rugby game, saying, you know what they say about draws, like kissing a sister. It's not great, but you'll take it. I mean, he said that on live television. Couldn't believe it. Let me catch up here. So, what a match. Jan saying, what do you think about Dobson? I don't really rate John Dobson. I know a lot of people do. He's a very nice guy. As he said, having been in the press conference stuff with him, I think he's a really nice guy. He's very passionate about rugby. Is he the best? Probably not. And I think that's probably an issue for the Stormers because they've got so many good players. I don't think the coaches are good enough. They were supposed to have Eddie Jones, and now you got John Dobson. The Lions need a good 15. Yeah, I would love to. I don't know why we didn't go after WATCHALONG, for example. Look, Tian Swanepoel's injured, and I think when Gianni Lombard comes back, I think he's also probably our best 15, even ahead of Swanepoel. But for you and Shame, he's just too slow. He's a nice, experienced player, but he's too slow. Something else saying horrible defense. Agreed. Simon Green was a big loss. You have no idea. I was watching him play for the Harlequins. Oh, what a player he was. I can't rate a coach who is doing so badly with a team like that. Well, that's the thing. It's on paper, you look at the Stormers squad and you think they should be the best side in the country. Borderline. Look, they're injury ravaged at the moment. They really are. Kate Voliter's injured. Ruan Niles left to the Blitzbox, so he's obviously still a contracted player, but not available. Steve Edison Nutley is currently suspended. Peace Toys had his injury issue. Salman Murat's out for the season. Marvin Ori out. Who else is out? They've got another injury in the back, in that front 3. They've just lost Jakob Kutsia. Colin Masimla's just gone injured. So they've got lots of injuries at the moment, but on paper, you've got John Augustus who's back. You look at the Currie Cup unlocked, and they didn't have the rest of the toy, but they had such a good side. And yet they haven't won anything. And it's not like they haven't won anything like they've been going to finals. Like the Lions were going to finals in the Super Rugby, and they weren't winning it, but they were going to finals. They were winning the conference. The Stormers have been underperforming for years. So, as you say, I think it's difficult to make a big case for John Dobson when you look at the talent that the Stormers have, and yet they're not really good. The Western Cape produces rugby players, at an alarming rate. Sean B says, to be fair, Van der Merwe looks fast. No, he is fast. Now, I'm not gonna, as I said, he is very fast. But Fuyun's not particularly fast, so I think it was always going to be a bad matchup there. But I'm not going to come down on Fuyun as much as those first two players. I think especially that second player. I mean, when you step inside and you chuck a lazy arm, it's lazy. You can't allow that. You can't allow somebody with that sort of pace, that much space. I think that's where the issue came. We've got a scrum here. Last 20 minutes, I cannot cope with a draw. How do you get excited about a draw when both these sides haven't won a game and they're going to draw this match? Hey, man. Surely you've got a winner in here. So we will be live for the Bulls versus Sharks game later today. I'm not invested in that emotionally, so we want to see some more neutral coverage. I've got Asanati on and Klabakanya. He is huge. The boy from St. Stidians. My goodness, if you've ever seen him in person, he is massive. Interested to see how he does at the Lions. I really like him. I think he's for somebody of his size, he loves having the ball in his hands. He's got a decent pair of hands as well. So interested to see how he went. I thought Carly Sardi was tremendous again. I think if the Lions win, I think he'll have a lot to do with it. That's a solid scrum. The penalty to the Stormers, and that's one of those 50-50 ones, to be honest. I think it's on the tighter side, Jeff, on Klabakanya. So I think it's Ali from Marcus got the better of him, but equally so, it was wheeling on the other side. When it comes to scrums, I've got a mate who's a referee, and I'm going to try and get him on here for situations like that. And he even says it's such a 50-50 call. You know, you'll see something and you'll see so many different things going wrong or stuff, and you kind of have to decide which is the worst, which is the big one. See, Ruan Dre, who's just come on as well, wheeling around. I mean, I think he's dominating that side. I think the penalty was scrumming in. So the Lions are emptying their bench. Morne van den Berg, a big fan of him, is on, as is PJ Buerta. I thought Jakob Asaki was decent. Carly Sardi should have stayed. Yeah, I think so. I think he should have. You know what? At the end of the day, I don't really care about this tournament in terms of actually winning it. I'm going to be upset if we lose, 100%. But if it means that Klabakanya gets 20 minutes, he gets 20 minutes. I hate having a bench and then giving a player 4 minutes. What's he supposed to do with 4 minutes? I'm a United fan. You do that to Johnny van der Beek every time. 4 minutes, go and play. What's the point? So, I mean, it's shifted completely, and you can see that the Stormers pack is suddenly getting into this game. But, you know what? Sink or swim. In Klabakanya, if you want to play at this level, get 20 minutes. Let's see if you can play at this level. So Stormers have got an advantage. They've gone on the side. Rick Pretorius is there. He's got Herschel Yankees around him. And the Lions have thankfully managed to grab onto it. And with advantage over, so that's a very nice result there. It's becoming very messy as we reach to the last 20 minutes. The Lions eventually clear their lines. Lions can with a tongue twister that. The Stormers are taking it quickly though. Willems has got Van der Merwe outside him. But Dan Creel's been sat down. Where have you been? Rubs McLaren, that's a nice tackle. Very nice. Very nice. Well done, Rubs. We haven't seen enough of our wings as the Lions. I mean, you got Rubs McLaren. He was one of the top try scorers in the Pro 14 for the Cheetahs. And yet, I don't think I've ever seen him actually have space to run in. So we've got all the players off the bench now. We've got Augustus on for the Stormers. Morne van den Berg's on for the Lions. I'm a big Van den Berg fan. Very much in the mold of Faf de Klerk. Nice, exciting scrummy. PJ Buerta on. I don't know who's not on for the Lions. I'm assuming Willem Alberts is on as well. He's strange if he isn't. Trying to look and speak of the devil. There he is. Willem Alberts. Yeah, he is on. Augustus takes him down. Now Hendrickson goes up to the boot. I'm hoping he plays a full 80 because he's been very good. I know we've got Fred Zellinger on the bench, but I would be very, very hard pressed to take Hendrickson off at the moment. Pretorius cuts the line. He's got Daniel Bessie outside him. Courtney's concerned. Thank you. It's too easy. It's too easy. Why does he make their tackles? The Stormers on the front foot here. They're inside the 22. Rick Torres, the man there who dissected the bloody line like a rat. Oh, thank goodness. Williams will try to throw the pass to Evan van der Merwe. It's a poor pass. But the Lions' defense has been a shambles in the last few minutes. So many gaps. And the Stormers, like a hot knife through butter, are doing whatever they want over there. Scott Game saying, can you say to your English followers if they watch the Guinness Pro 14 Rainbow Cup, go to Premier Sports, they'll be able to watch the matches. Oh, cool. Well, there we go. So Premier Sports. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming that's... So for all... And is that for... cool. So for English players. Cool. Well, thank you very much, Scott. I'll remember that. I'll write that down. TRX Gaming saying the Lions Sharks haven't used their wings a lot this tournament. Yeah, it's something I was saying in my preview of the Sharks Bulls game, is that you look at somebody like Yao Peng here, who's been at the Sharks for a long time, and yet we haven't really seen what he could do in the attack. He kind of just spends his life chasing down kicks and tackling and stuff like that. Equally, you've got somebody like Courtney's Kasan, who also the Lions haven't used much. In the first half, they used Wandisile Similani a lot more, and I think that's a really good thing, but haven't managed to get the backline going this half just yet. Momentum seems to be shifting. I think the Stormers have suddenly got the front foot here. The bench seems to be working. The cause come to use it once there for the Stormers, not really going anywhere, so Hershiakis uses it. Pretorius at first receiver, he suddenly stepped up in the last couple of games, last minutes. David Williams goes out wide. That's another poor pass, and it's a knock on there from Paul de Vet. David Williams, that's the second time now he's been on the attack and thrown a very poor pass. Uncharacteristic for the youngster, but those are two big chances that have gone begging for Stormers. And that is kind of what let them down against the Bulls, is not taking their chances. That's a horrible pass. It's a coach killer, isn't it? It really is a coach killer. When you get around the outside, you've got all that space, it's looking good, and then you throw a pass like that. And that's the second time he's done it. So they won't be happy there in the coaching box. Come, we need one more subscriber to get to 1320. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. Last 30 minutes. Come, we've got to find a winner here. I'm not watching 80 minutes of rugby to see a draw. I'm not about that life. There's a scrum here inside the Lions half. Last time it was a scrum, was a penalty to the Stormers actually. So now the Lions need to stand firm here and try and win a penalty of their own. Jimmy Knight, if I show you any part of the game, then my channel can get shut down. So unfortunately, I can't do that. Morning, Vandenberg. Go yourself, mate. Chip ahead. Hershey Yankees, get over it. There we go. Win the penalty. No, man. So, Morning Vandenberg has had a nice little run down the side. Chipped ahead. The Stormers are looking to run it out of their 22. Dan Duplessis eventually goes to the boot. And there's nobody home, but it's bounced favorably. I think it's Similani. He's not going to kick that. He goes himself, inside, outside, finds a gap, breaks the gain line. It's a nice carry there from Similani. Tuka inside, Dan Creel, inside, you idiot! He's still going, inside! Vandenberg, I mean, if you'd gone in there the first time, he might have made it. Come on. Recycle, 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 get the ball out. Willem Alberts. Come on. Throw the ball down there. So slow ball. Klabakanya up now. It's a big hit on... who is that? I mean, he's... Tutuka takes it up. Come on. Should have done better there. Should have done better there. I mean, that's why I liked Morne van den Berg there. I mean, that's all from him. Standing on the outside, turning around, chip ahead. Then the Stormers trying to run it out. Dan Duplessis with a bit of an average kick and then a nice carry from Similani and then some nice carry. I think Dan Creel's butchered this though. Had that opportunity where you had Morne van den Berg on the inside. But didn't really use him. By the time he did use him, it was too late. Freaky Crew, you're going live for... Yeah, I will be live there. So that starts at... Let me actually make sure I've got my times right, because I've been a bit everywhere at the moment. Yeah, we've got it live there. So if you go on the channel, it's already scheduled. So if you turn your notification on, you'll get a notification when we do go live. So we will be live for that game as well. Jordan Hemsworth is going to line up a kick here. And he gets it. There we go. Thank you very much. I'm not sure that's the right decision. I think that we had a bit of momentum there, but I suppose it's getting to the lead. Very, very tense game all of a sudden. It's actually been a very good watch, to be honest. At the end of the day, a nice close game. What more can you ask for? I also think that... Maybe it's just me, but I definitely think that the quality of rugby is getting better. You know, I mean, we've had bad moments today, but I do think that the intensity is definitely getting... If we go back to sort of a year ago, Super Rugby, I feel like we're at a similar sort of intensity, and I suppose that's the main thing. So yeah, 6:15, we will be live for the Sharks-Bulls game. We've got some time now to go and eat some lunch, maybe crack open a beer or two. Nice kick from Hendricks, very nice. He's been fantastic. I think he's been very impressive. I mean, you think he's 19 years old. He doesn't look at all scared of the occasion. He looks like he's made for this sort of stuff. Jimmy Nine said, "Come on, the Stormers." Yeah, well, let me know who you're backing later. What do you? I mean, I think it's this evening's game is going to be quite interesting. I mean, surely the Lions will see this off. Surely. The clean out take for the Stormers, who are on the attack. Oh, that's a good handling there. It's a bit of a poor pass. Paul de Vet now. Does get on the outside. Does get on the outside. Can you guys just tackle? Can you just tackle? All I'm asking. Is it too much to ask? Just to freaking tackle. Goodness me. Willemse throws the ball over the top. There's so much space out wide. Like there's been the entire game. He's knocked it on, thank goodness. This has been a game of get out of jail free for the Lions. Another knock-on, so we'll have another scrum. I mean, the handling areas have been starting to creep in for the Stormers. Once I start talking about how the standard has been getting better, they've had several knock-ons. TR say I'm backing the Sharks to give out a big upset. I mean, it would be an upset, but I mean, you look at that Sharks side, it should be an even game, to be honest. I mean, it's an upset because the Bulls are untouchable at the moment, but I think that Sharks side's good enough to go toe-to-toe with the Bulls. Obviously, I've already opened a tin of beers. Yeah, I'm going to get onto them later. I don't have time really to jump on them now. So let me get some cold. Get a couple of ice packs there. So there we go. Pre-drinks. Let's all sort of reconvene here at 6 o'clock with some beers. And let's enjoy. Sean B saying, do you think Alton Yankees will come back? I do. I think he just likes staying in Johannesburg, to be honest. I mean, he's had so many offers to go overseas. He has played in Japan. But he's had lots of offers to go overseas for a long time. And just doesn't. So the plan is for him to come back. It's a short-term move. Often that spells, you know, the beginning of the end. Because obviously he's going to get paid a lot better, and suddenly he's going to sit there and think maybe France is the right place. But I think he'll come back. I think that he's a very loyal player. And I also think he's finally starting to get the respect he deserves. The last year, you know, you look at social media, and he's the most targeted player out there. I'll say it. I think he is the most targeted player out there because he's a very much a maverick. You know, on his day, he's sublime, but because of the way he plays, he can also have very bad days. But I think he's fine. That is a huge scrum. Morty van den Berg down the blind side. Come on, Rams! Come on, Rams! Get in! There we go. But what did I say? What did I say? We haven't seen one run from him. When you gave him the space, Morty van den Berg, nobody ahead of him. Rams McClanahan, I think that's his first try for the Lions. His 20th in his career, a brilliant finish there. That is game, set, match. Thank you very much. A huge scrum. Morty van den Berg, perfect timing the pass. Fantastic snipe there. Rams McClanahan, all the pace in the world. There we go. Thank you very much. Get in. Get in. This is all Morty van den Berg. I mean, it's a huge scrum from the Lions, and with the Stormers buckling, he just decides to grab it, going down the blind side, saw all the space, perfectly timed pass to Rasmatwana. Eddie Jacobs is panting into his mic. He's finished for the day, but a brilliant try there, and that should be it. Right, Hendricks had another difficult kick for him. He actually looks like quite a good kicker, to be honest. Both the kicks he missed were quite close. They weren't easy kicks at all. So I'll be surprised if he gets this. It's right on the edge, and as a right-footed kicker, this is your hardest kick on the field. Solid strike. Looks like it's going there. I think went too far on the left there, so he misses that one as well. And that all stems from the scrum there. A huge scrum there from the Lions. Asineta and Klabakanya and Carly Sari, take a bow because a lot of that came down to you guys. So an 8-point lead from the Lions. The Stormers can't just score one try. A try and a penalty will do it, but they've only got 5 minutes. So if the Lions, game management as Ru Andrea carries it up. Jordan Henderson, he's got a huge boot, by the way. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I mean, that's from his 22. It's landing in their 22. That's a fantastic boot. Villensa shaping up for the up and under. No, he's going to run himself. He sees some sport. He goes outside to Edwin van der Merwe, who brushes off Makwana. Is eventually brought down by Vincent Tutuka. Actually, I think it's Emmanuel. Yeah, there's Vincent. Another pass in behind the line. That has been an issue for the Stormers. Berger Undal going for the interception. There's space out wide, as there's been for a long time. You have Paul de Vet. Stormers still in their half. That's what a fumble there from Scarron to Benny, but it's backwards. Just no momentum for the Stormers. So Tim Sewell decides to go to the boot. Well, from the Merva, Johan de Toy is chasing back. Come on! The man inside. Ah, the Stormers are going to go over. Ah, come on, man. You know, it's just, this is the part of the Lions fans. We just can't have nice things, can we? I mean, really, I cannot actually believe that. So the easy kick over there, 37-36. This is going to come down to the wire. This is very well played by Tim Sewell. There's absolutely nothing on. So a kick over the top, Edwin van der Merwe. Ball inside, I think, is that Similane? It's Cordless Kasani. I mean, I think it was Jordan Hendricks. So he'll learn from that. He didn't need to go with Edwin van der Merwe. He chases down Johan de Toy and makes a good tackle, but I think if you look at that, should have stayed off Edwin van der Merwe, backed his teammate, and gone for the ball inside. So it's Dandre Basile that went over in the end, but jeepers, this is one hell of a finish. 37 points to 36. What a game. As 2DRX Gaming says, what a game. Let's hope that later measures up to this, because this has been a fantastic watch. It's a contestable kick, and the Lions have won it. Asinate Klabakanya, he wins it. So the Lions have one possession. That's what you need. Now you've got 2 minutes. 2 minutes, chaps. Park it. PJ Buerta takes it up. Game management, chaps. Game management. Couple of phases here. Protect the ball. No meters made, but we're protecting the ball. That's the main thing. This is what the Bulls of old were the masters of this. They could spend 4 minutes winding the clock down with just a few phases. Let's see if the Lions could do it. Some big hits here. We're going backwards, but the important thing is the Lions are keeping the ball here. Very well done by Asenate and Klabakanya. Willem Alberts now goes up. They've almost used up a minute. MJ Pulser now. The big hit from the Stormers, but they managed to keep it. Now they're going to pick up a drive from Klabakanya. Less than a minute. They're going to pick up and drive for the last minute. I mean, it's heartbreaking as an opposition player, but this is test match rugby stuff. This is how you seal off a game. With 1 point in it, don't take any chances. 40 seconds. Still going, still going. Stormers trying to go for the steal there. 30 seconds left. Come on, man. Just keep it together. Keep it together. Keep it together. Last 15 seconds. That's one more phase. 2 more phases, then that's it. 2 more phases, then it's it. Keeping it nice and tight. 5. This is the last one. If they can keep it here, then they should have won the game. Oh, it's a Stormers penalty. We've got a Stormers penalty here. So Tim Swill has to find touch. And he does. Not a particularly good touch finder. And it was literally one more phase they needed to win. Well, if there's ever a time for the Lions to win the line-out, this is it. They go up. And it's a clean win. Well, it's a win from the Stormers. I wouldn't say it was that clean. Yoshi Yankees has to use it. Rick Pretorius takes it in. He's making a few meters. Come on, chaps. They've got a penalty advantage. Oh, come on, man. Tim Swill goes for the drop. Goes to the right. So the Stormers still have a penalty. Right, so the Stormers can kick to win this. Surely not, man. I mean, literally in the last phase to fucking thing, we're going to lose this bloody game. And now Tim Swill with the easiest kick of the bloody game. Ah! Well, learn your lessons, Lions, because you managed 2 minutes brilliantly and then decided to go on a bit of a run. And that conceded the penalty. You conceded a penalty here, and Tim Swill's good as I dissect the polls there. 3 points, and the Stormers have taken it. Absolute heartbreak. Oh, Hershey Yankees, you haven't won the World Cup, mate. Relax. I mean, you've won the World Cup. It's not that big of a victory. Right, the Stormers have done it. Against a run of players, it has to be said. The Lions completely in control and are paying the price for some terrible tackling. And that's it. So the Stormers win 39 points to 37. What a game it was. Fantastic intensity, and the Stormers need that a lot. But I think it's a good effort from the Lions. Looked a lot better going back to their roots. So disappointing, a lot to learn. They do get a bonus point, though. But that's heartbreaking. We'll see you very now for the post-match reaction. Please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video as well. And we'll see you live for the Bulls versus Sharks game. Thank you very much for watching.